Morning. I am Day of DHB Devotion Health and Beauty Recovery Network. My name is pronounced Day. It is spelled DAA. DAA are my initials. I am in recovery from loss, grief, trauma, and addiction. I invite you to walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. Fair Use, March 7th. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. March 7th. The key is willingness. Once we have placed the key of willingness in the lock and have the door ever so slightly open, we find that we can always open it some more. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 35. The willingness to give up my pride and self-will to a power greater than myself has proved to be the only ingredient absolutely necessary to solve all of my problems today. Even the smallest amount of willingness, if sincere, is sufficient to allow God to enter and take control over any problem, pain, or obsession. My level of comfort is in direct relation to the degree of willingness I possess at any given moment to give up my self-will and allow God's will to be manifested in my life. With the key of willingness, my worries and fears are powerfully transformed into serenity. Fair Use. Courage to Change One Day at a Time in Al-Anon. March 7th. In Al-Anon, I discovered that I needed to make changes in myself. After a lifetime of living with a disease of attitudes, alcoholism, I didn't think very highly of myself. So I didn't have much faith that anything good would come out of my efforts. I learned better by watching my son's silkworms. Silkworms are fat and greedy creatures, but out of their own substance they create something beautiful. They have no choice in the matter. They were born to express this beauty. I too can transform something negative into something positive. By changing my self-defeating attitudes, I become a more beautiful human being. I was born with this beauty inside me, and if I will only allow myself, I can express it freely. Al-Anon helps me learn to put love first in my life, and gratitude, a cornerstone of my Al-Anon recovery, brings hidden loveliness clearly into view. Today's reminder. Today I can spin a little silk and let its grace everything I touch. I don't have to look back to past ugliness except to learn from it, to enhance the present, and to release whatever beauty is trapped behind old secrets and self-defeating attitudes. One day at a time, I can delight in the splendid person I am becoming. There is a quote, and it reads, "Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness until it flowers again from within." Galway Kinnell. Fair Use. Just for today. Daily Meditations for Recovering Addicts. March 7th. Priorities. The good times can also be a trap. The danger is that we may forget that our first priority is to stay clean. Basic text, page 43. Things can get really good in our recovery. Perhaps we found our soulmate, built a rewarding career, started a family, maybe our relationships with our family members have healed. Things are going so well, we barely have time to attend meetings. Perhaps we begin to reintegrate into society so successfully that we forget that we don't always react to situations like others do. Maybe, just maybe, we've put some priorities ahead of themselves. Is meeting attendance still a priority with us? Do we still sponsor? Do we phone our sponsor? What step are we working? Are we still willing to drag ourselves out of bed at some ungodly hour for a 12-step call? Do we remember to practice principles in all our affairs? If others in NA reach out to us, are we available? Do we remember where we came from, or have the good times allowed us to forget? To stay clean, we must remember that we are only one drug away from our past. We stay grateful for the good times, but we don't let them divert us from our continuing recovery in Narcotics Anonymous. Just for today, I am grateful for the good times, but I've not forgotten from where I've come. Today, my priority is staying clean and growing in my recovery. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous. March 7th. Reflection for today. Anger can get me into trouble and pride can keep me there. Admitting I am wrong is hard as I want to be perfect, keep my world all intact and not lose control. I am not alone in the world anymore. I am a human being living a life which is the best I know. And I do not have to be perfect. I can make mistakes and then correct the error without being a failure. Meditation for today. May I have more patience and tolerance, which will lead to improved relations with you and others. Today I will remember honesty is a powerful tool to eliminate false pride. Fair use. Strengthening my recovery, meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. March 7th. False self. The false self is the adult child personality expressed in the 14 traits of the ACA laundry list. BRB, Big Red Book, page 7. While growing up, we unknowingly used the survival technique of developing a false self, a disguise, the mask we used to cover the codependent and addictive traits we learned from our dysfunctional families. We feared and were controlled by other people. We based our feelings on our parents' behavior. We did so because we were not allowed to express our personal feelings. There were consequences for doing so. The laundry list is an important tool we use to identify our ACA characteristics. It guides us in taking our blameless inventory, thus revealing our true self and affirming our worthiness. We learn what behaviors we want to change in order to move from our false self to our true self. In recovery, we begin to understand that in order to grow, it is important to accept and not deny all of our feelings. Some of us use the slogan, "There is no healing without feeling," almost as a mantra. Gradually, our true self emerges as we reach out to others in the fellowship and as we learn the language of ACA. The affirmation reads, "On this day, as I remember the mask of my false self, I am free to make healthy decisions about the revelation of my true self. DHB Recovery Network daily affirmations, reflections, and devotions and meditations. Please subscribe, like, share, and most of all, be the you that you are created to be one day at a time.